And we are back live, everybody. Welcome in to Ghosted, a paranormal podcast. And tonight, it's just basic, just talk, just have fun, chill out, hang out, talk about some Bigfoot. But, we've got something, very interesting we're going to talk about beforehand, maybe about 5-minute subject. But before we do all that, got to get him in here. Colton Spence is my co-host. Colton, how you doing tonight, brother?
Pretty good, Jake. What about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great. It's been a fun week. We talking. It's good that we work together. That we can have these conversations about what we want to do, what we want to talk about this week. What do you want to do? And sometimes we're like, man, I don't know. And then there's other times we're like, yeah, let's do this right here. We've kind of had a game plan on the live shows on what we wanted to do. So, but we also like to throw in a couple of different things in there as well, and that's what we did tonight. Starting out, guys, what we're about, and we've talked about it. We do the necessary research. We do the investigative side of it, and if it involves us and needing us to do an experiment, we'll definitely do it as well. Now, this has nothing to do with paranormal, but it's very interesting. But Colton over here, no, there he is. Yeah, he did an interesting experiment a couple of weeks ago. It's been probably about a month now, I guess, Colton, when when you did it. But you decided to quit drinking coffee for a whole week, and I just let you tell how your thought process about that was, and how your body reacted to it, because I saw the effects of it. And but I'll let you tell your story.
Yeah, so pretty much I just drink coffee and water. That's 99% of what I drink. And I started drinking coffee where we work, and I didn't even like it. But there's a coffee pot there, and it's always got coffee in it. And the reason I drank it was because sometimes we would go to the city dump to take pallets and stuff, and it would usually be after lunch. And to go sit in that truck after lunch, I would struggle to stay awake. So I would
Mhm.
chug coffee, just a cup, and it would be bad. I hated it, but I did it to try to stay awake, and it worked. And that's where it started. I started to love coffee, and I've been drinking it ever since. But when I came back to work, where me and Jake work, I'd worked somewhere else before, and there was no coffee machine, coffee pot there. So I was limited to the coffee intake. But when I came back to work, there's a
Brutal.
coffee pot there, and now I have free reign on coffee. And I started to drink it nonstop, and it was great. I would get a cup in the morning. When I got done with it, I would pour a cup and I would drink it. I would top it off for about 3 hours sometimes, and that's a lot of coffee. I would drink it until I had too much, and you
Yeah.
kind of get that feeling in your head, and I stopped. And then I would start again after lunch. And man, I love coffee. I mean, it's some good stuff. And I've stopped drinking it before in the past, a long time ago. Can't remember what happened, but I just got, I was like, I'm gonna quit drinking coffee. I don't know for how long, uh, but I did for a week, and it was bad. It was very unpleasant, and I quit cold turkey, no coffee, and
Yeah, he did.
I was just like irritated constantly. It's it was very bad, in a constant state of negativity. Uh, Never was very alive, you know, like a zombie, I guess.
Mhm.
It was bad, and if you want to suffer, just drink coffee all day and then stop suddenly. It's a good way to feel bad for a week. Never felt better that whole week. I never got to feeling better, and it was a Sunday when I started back, and that first cup of coffee, it was the best thing ever. I felt good again instantly, And that's it. Just kind of funny story.
Yeah.
So
Being the jerk that I am, I would every morning I go in the warehouse and see Colton. I'll be drinking some of that coffee, and Colton be like, "Man, you really gonna drink coffee in front of me?" I was like, "Hey, go get you a cup. That's all you gotta do. Just go get you a cup." So, but that's kind of I would call investigative ness that we do, and the research side of it. If something, even though that's not paranormal, but if something like that requires or intrigues us to do, we will do it. That's what we are, and that's what we're about. So I just thought that was a very cool thing that Colton did. Um, I'm definitely not going to do it because I got to have coffee, and I know how that would be equivalent to me stopping this. If I stop that cold turkey, that is dip, by the way. I know I'm a miserable person, and my wife will tell you that. But anyway, that's just what we do. We do things like that we're not proud of, but it's for the research side of it.
yeah, and one question I had was a little tolerance break. How long before it has a stronger effect, and it's definitely not a week.
Mhm.
It's got to be longer. So I have
Yeah.
my answer there. I don't know if it's worth it though.
I'll tell you one thing, Colton. As much as Mexican food me and you've been eating here lately, if we ever quit that cold turkey, I'd probably be miserable too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like a drug, the Mexican food. It's hard to quit.
Yeah. Same way with coffee and tobacco products, stuff like that. It's a stimulant, and it's just it's so much like I don't know what it is. It's like tells your brain that you need it, but in reality you don't. But it just constantly just nags at you until you finally either get that cup of coffee or either get that burrito or get you a dip or a smoke or whatever. It's just something about our brains and how we're wired.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Mhm. But anyway, moving on to the main topic tonight, and this is what, as you see in the title, we're going to talk about, and that is Bigfoot himself. Now, I said, is he a legendary creature or is he a demonic spirit? And that's what I put in the description. You know, we may surprise some of you guys tonight because Colton's really involved in Bigfoot. He has been for a while now. He's been studying on it. I've been in on it as well. But a lot of people don't bring up the fact that it could be a demonic spirit. So we're gonna give you that tonight. And I feel like it's gonna be beneficial for you to listen and check out. So Colton, if you want to start this, we'll get rolling. And but yeah, why do you think it is a demonic spirit more so I guess a physical form of an intelligent being or creature?
It's basically because of the overwhelming stories that paranormal is involved, and that just points away towards it being a strictly flesh and blood creature, animal, hominid, whatever you want to call it. So this is a frustrating one. I mean, this is kind of like part three, right? Because we've talked about it twice on the podcast,
Yeah, we
but this
have.
being a new platform,
Hmm.
it'll be a first time for a lot of people, I guess. But yeah. So I couldn't get to the root source of what Bigfoot is. Not yet. Maybe I can. It's a frustrating topic because I can't find the definite answer to what is Bigfoot. It drives me crazy. And I got, I'll tell you the backstory kind of. Uh, I heard a story on YouTube of a guy. He was a deer hunter or just a hunter in general, fished. And he was talking about Bigfoot seriously, as in not a fairy tale creature, but something that he had actually seen and that many others have seen in his community. And right then and there, I was like, well, what the heck? I never considered it to be real. And from there, I was obsessed for years. And it was kind of bad, like really obsessed with it. So I sought out all the information I could, and still haven't came up with all the answers, but I'm still trying, just kind of taking a break from it, not obsessing over it, but just kind of give you an idea of what we're dealing with. So Bigfoot, many different names, Yeti, uh, in the Himalayas, Yowie, Australia. China has parts of China have a name. The Native Americans have different names. Champay is one. Different tribes have different names. So all over the world, you have these different names for Bigfoot. Skunk ape is a Florida version of Bigfoot.
Right.
Rougarou, Louisiana.
Yep.
Downing booger is a local. Alabama white thing, another local.
The
So
Yeti.
all over the world, as well as more local too. So it's everywhere. It's like, well, how does this even make sense? So everybody's seeing the same thing. And I feel like the closer you get to it, the more you realize it is paranormal. There's stories of footprints on a mountain and they just disappear without a trace. People will get, you talk about pictures, you don't know what's real and what's not hardly today, especially right now. But the Patterson-Gimlin footage in California, we think that may be real. There's a good chance it is real because this was before any type of advanced technology. And everybody should watch that video. And it's been enhanced and things like that. So we can see some detail. But like I talked about before, how could this thing be not paranormal? How could it be a giant ape? We would get a body for everybody to see. It would just be like any other ape or something like that. It just doesn't make sense. I think the spiritual realm comes in all different shapes and sizes, all different forms. I don't believe this is a good entity. I think it's probably of demonic origin. They can seem like they can disappear and reappear, maybe go through portals. It seems like they are, you see one, there's probably more type of thing. So there's a lot to it. I mean, it's a huge topic. And I've never saw one. I've heard stories, local stories.
Yeah.
I know you have too, Jake. But I've yet to see one myself. I don't think Jake has either, unless he's holding out on me.
No.
But
her stories, though.
Yeah. And my belief before, this is how your belief can evolve. I thought they were strictly in the remote parts of the world, the Himalayan mountains, as well as Pacific Northwest, all along that California, mainly North California, Washington, Oregon, and the deep forest. While there is a lot of sightings there, they're in our backyards,
Oh, yeah.
There's sightings all in North Alabama, all in Tennessee. And you don't talk about East Tennessee, East Kentucky, West Virginia. There's tons of sightings there. And that's in the southeast.
Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah. So everywhere. They're everywhere, the sightings. It's one of the things you can't ignore. If you want to say they're not real, it seems to be overwhelming evidence that they are real.
Right.
But I can't figure out their origins. I do believe they are paranormal, but I can't put my finger on it. There's no documentation of the origins of these things, and just the description of these are giant. They're giants. First off, they're typically referred to as 7 to 12 foot tall.
Yep.
On average 8 foot. It seems like you hear 8 and 9 a lot, and that's a giant. So giant, you think Nephilim. Is there a connection there? I think so. There were DNA studies. Me and Jake, we weren't there. We can't say for fact, but we believe that this could be a legit DNA study with reputable people. And the results, they got DNA
Mm.
on a farm in Kentucky through hair, saliva, and other things. And it said half human female, half unknown.
Mm-hmm.
So the unknown part means that they have no DNA in the database that matches. So first off, it's a hybrid creature.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Second off, what does that sound like? It sounds like the fallen angels come to the human women in the Bible. Sounds eerily similar. But that's as far as we can go there. We can't.
Yeah.
We can only infer, and it's very frustrating. But
Yeah.
we know that the fallen angels, we know they still work on this earth. We know how that works. We know demons, fallen angels, but these giants out in the woods. What are they doing? What's
Right.
their place? I don't know.
Yeah. You made a lot of good points there, Colton. I want to touch on what the recent one you just said about the DNA study. Half human women, half unknown. We're not going to have any DNA from a Nephilim. That is for sure. So that kind of gives credibility of it being an unknown, you know, creature like a Nephilim. The other thing you talked about, I'm trying to think what it was now. You made a lot of great points there, but oh the about the paranormal side of it and how it could be paranormal. It's at an actual paranormal figure instead of an intelligent, full-fledged figure walking around. All the technology we have nowadays, and we can't get all the drones in the sky, and we can't get one solid piece of video footage of this thing. And it seems like every time there's a video that comes out for anything really in the paranormal world, we've watched it on TV in the break room, on lunch, Colton. Everybody's camera seems like it was made in 1994, and they're just constantly just doing this with the camera moving around. So you can't get a good clear shot on anything. So if we got all this technology now, we've got all these drones, all these planes and stuff flying around, these helicopters. Somebody should be able to get a clear video or a picture of this creature, and we haven't got one yet. I mean, the best one was in the 70s, the Patterson film. I mean, it's been 40 years now since we've got a clear picture of a Bigfoot. Since that time, I just don't buy it. I think that either one or two things happen. This is a spirit, so it freely roams and then just evaporates and then goes away and comes back as it freely, wants to, kind of like what a spirit does. Or a demon may go back to hell and then come back later. Or it's going through a portal. We talked about portals a lot too. So maybe it's one of them two things potentially.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds eerily similar to the whole just paranormal in general, getting those on camera.
Right.
We know that cameras seldom work against the paranormal, but it is their weakness. They do get caught on camera. It just happens.
Right.
You can catch them on camera when you don't see them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not foolproof. It doesn't work every time, but it can. And cameras are our greatest tool. And seeing these things at times when they don't want to be seen, they can slip up and get on camera, is what I believe.
Yeah, especially an infrared camera.
Yeah, yeah. There's different tools that can help us see them better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, infrared. It shows heat. It shows the cool, and full spectrum cameras as well shows
Yep.
different things that a normal camera doesn't. So yeah, they don't play by our rules really. It's the same thing. They do slip up at times, I feel. It's like you think you put an infrared camera a thermal on a drone or a helicopter and fly it over the most dense forest out in the Pacific Northwest, you'll catch something on there. Well, you might, I don't know, but the reality is I mean, they can do things that we can't. They defy the laws of physics, just like any paranormal thing, I believe. And how would you think a giant 12-foot tall bipedal creature would escape a thermal camera?
It's impossible.
It's not realistic, no.
Yeah.
So they can do things, I believe. And where do we draw the line between physical and spiritual? You know, angels are spiritual creatures, but they come fully physical at
Right.
times. You know, they say, "Be not afraid." You know, the people are seeing them with their eyes clear as day, and they're terrified. And the angels they can touch physical things and become physical, like they walked through Sodom and Gomorrah as well, the form of people. So yeah, physical can turn into spiritual. I mean, they are spiritual creatures, but they can go full physical and fully back into a being that we can't necessarily see so good. And that's what we call when demons manifest. I mean, they can manifest physically, is what we would say, and you can see them standing in front of you, and then they'll go back to where you can't see them. So we see them, then we don't see them. That's just how it works. It's so frustrating. But we see something standing there, flesh and blood. That doesn't mean it's an ape of this world.
Right.
It then it disappears. It's like, okay, well, we're dealing with something different. It's not normal at all. And
No.
people will tell you if they don't believe in Bigfoot, okay, fine. But if people believe in Bigfoot, where are you going to go? You're going to go paranormal or missing link or Gigantopithecus or something. Uh, you know, it's just no, you can't tell me that at all.
No. I mean, it's got to be paranormal because it's not normal to have a 12-foot giant running around in your dense forest. That is paranormal.
It is paranormal, and just because it's bipedal and it looks like us, maybe like an ape a little bit, that don't mean it's an ape or a person, something close to human. I mean, it could. I mean, if that DNA study is correct, we share half of their DNA. But
Which is
man,
insane.
yeah. And if people won't accept that they're paranormal, that's fine. I mean, they're so far behind anyway.
Right.
They got a lot to catch up on, not just Bigfoot. They need
Mm-hmm.
they read the Bible first off, then maybe they can get back on Bigfoot a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, no missing link here.
No.
I bet my life on that.
No missing link at all. So, man, yeah, it's we could talk another hour on Bigfoot. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. We're running a little bit, pressed for time. Sorry we was a little late tonight. Had some technical difficulties. We'll try to get that figured out before next week's show. We've done 3 straight lives. Looks like we got one person watching us. So whoever that is, thank you for watching. Tell your friends about us. We're going to try to grow this channel, and more importantly, we're trying to get out into the world of the paranormal, as you say, and start doing some investigations. At this point, I don't care what it is, Bigfoot, ghost, spirits, whatever, whatever you got, UFOs. There's a lot of UFO sightings in our area, Colton, and I feel like I need to get my brain wrapped around it and try to figure out a way to, get in touch with those people. Because, on the UFO side of things, and we'll talk more about it deeper in a segment. I just want to say where we live at, we're near a military base. So maybe some of the stuff that people are seeing is linked to that, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's something that we've got to look into.
Right, you're right. I mean, we got the Redstone, we got military contractors all over.
Right.
Huntsville's a big place, you know. Lockheed's in Huntsville as well as in Cortland.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff goes on. So strange things in the sky are not always alien craft, but
Right.
it's still a UFO to whoever sees it, right? Because they don't know unidentified.
I.
Uh, yeah, orbs can be they can
Mm-hmm.
be called UFOs. Those are paranormal, in fact.
Right.
Unless there's like a drone that caught fire in the sky, then that's not
Yeah.
paranormal. But
Right.
uh,
But I was
yeah,
going to say,
UFOs.
yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say real quick that at night when I see a star moving or a bright light moving, I mean, it is a UFO to me at that point because I don't know what it is. But
Mm,
I have told you from numerous times, Colton, since we found that website, newforce.com, they list every month UFO sightings across the world. And ever since I found out that there was several UFO sightings in the past, I think 2 years around our area in North Alabama, my eyes have been glued at night to the sky. So
mm.
I'm not going to change that. I'm hoping. And you know what happened that a few weeks ago I told you about. I saw these string of lights going by, and I even sent a video to you, and I was like, "What is this?" Kind of find out it was Starlink. So if I wouldn't have paid attention, thankfully my wife saw it, but I wasn't paying attention. But I mean, just something like that. You just see something like that and just be amazed. But yeah, a deeper topic on Bigfoot, or not Bigfoot, but UFOs for sure is coming in the future.
Yeah, we're about to get kicked off on that early if we don't calm
Yeah,
down here a little bit because my mind's already on it now.
I know. Maybe it'll
But
be a
yeah,
next week's show.
it's frustrating too. There's so
Mhm.
much going on with that, and there's so much going on with what's in those UFOs. That's the question, you
That's the
know.
biggest thing.
So it's no doubt we have this technology that is that's bizarre. It's the craft. Uh, but we know that. But what's in it? What's in it?
Yeah.
I it's some U.S. agents. I know that for sure. Not for sure, but I'm guessing. But you got the originals where they got that technology.
Mhm.
What's in them? You know, little
Right.
gray aliens, little gray men, probably. But then
Right.
you ask, well, what are they?
Hmm.
What are they? We know what they look like. We call them the gray aliens, but what are they truly?
Yeah.
So it
Colton,
hardly stops.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. We got our very first comment on
Oh
a
yeah, I
live
see that.
here. So Gray Wolf, hey Jake. Yeah, hey, good to have you tonight. Running a little late to the party. We're doing our closing segment, but glad to have you on. But yeah, Colton, that's the key. What is in a UFO? And to tie it all together is, we talked about today the Men in Black. You know, how are these Men in Black at every single UFO incident? I mean, within hours of it happening, and they know the exact people from their names to their faces to who their parents are, or grandparents are. I mean, their whole life story. How do they know exactly who saw the UFO go down or whatever crash, whatever happened? And that's my biggest question. And I'm, I don't know if it's CIA. I don't know if it's some kind of, shapeshifter or aliens themselves. I don't know what, the Men in Black are or is, but I'll tell you one thing. I don't think it's from this world, and that I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with those people. Just go
Right.
ahead and shoot them, and yeah,
Uh,
we'll worry about what they are later.
right. So, anyway, Colton, been fun tonight. Talking about Bigfoot. We kind of got off on UFOs there a little bit, but that's going to come in a future episode for sure. Thank you, Grey Wolf, for being on. Thank you all for listening. If you go back and watch this replay, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Get us, get this train rolling a little bit more. I think we got 8 subscribers right now. Get us up to 10 by tomorrow morning, or at least give us 20 by the weekend, and just keep going from there. The momentum pick up. We'll start get going, get rolling. Investigations will come, And then what we plan on doing is when we have an investigation, we're going to go live on investigation as well on this channel. And that would be fun for you guys to watch in and everything. So anyway, thank you all for listening. Colton, you got anything else you want to share?
No, I think we covered Bigfoot pretty well. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but
Right.
that's a good start.
Yeah, one of these days, once we start building up a little bit, we may have a little segment where we are alive, where we stay on a little bit longer. The chat's popping, we get some questions answered, stuff like that. So anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. If you, like I said, if you go back and watch this replay, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. We may be talking about UFOs. Sounds like we're really fired up on it, so we may be talking about that. We'll see what else comes about. If current event happens, we'll talk about it as well. But anyway, thank you all. Y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you next Thursday night right here on Ghosted, a paranormal podcast with your hosts Jake Thomas and Colton Spinks.